In the previous chapter, we saw that Moses is nearing the end of his life, and he needs to prepare others for when he is gone. So he needs to prepare Joshua as well as Eleazar, the priest, and of course the congregation, the people of Israel, for that event. This chapter here contains a lot of the necessary information for the Israelites. It's almost like a cheat sheet of the book of Leviticus. Of course, I'm being facetious when I say that, but you'll see. Numbers 28:1, and the Lord said to Moses. 28:2, command the Israelites, saying, my offering, my food, for my offerings, made by fire, my sweet and soothing odor, you shall be careful to offer to me at its proper time. The Lord is dwelling with the Israelites, and as a result, there needs to be a method to deal with the sin. And that's why we have some of these different offerings. Some of the other offerings have different purposes, but they are needed here for God to be able to dwell with the Israelites, because God is a holy being, and humanity as a whole is inherently pretty messed up and corrupted. So as a result, there is quite a schedule. We have the different animals, the different days of the week, the different months of the year, the different holy days, and the time of day. So there's a lot of different factors here. And this chapter is a bit of a cheat sheet to this section that's similar in Leviticus that breaks this down in a little bit more detail. But we'll keep going. Numbers 28:3. And you shall say to the people, this is the offering made by fire, which you shall offer to the Lord. 2 male lambs, a year old, without spot or blemish, 2 day by day, for a continual burnt offering. 28:4. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other in the evening. So the first thing on the schedule here is this burnt offering, and this is to be a daily offering. So every day in Israel, they would offer 2 lambs of the first year, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. You think about that, that's more than 700 a year. And they did this every year for several thousand years. So that is a lot of animals right there. Assuming that they had the capabilities to perform the offering and that they were in obedience, which, we'll see what Israel's track record is a little bit later in several books. Numbers 28:5. Also a tenth of an ephod of flour for a cereal offering, mixed with a fourth of a hin of beaten oil. 28:6. It is a continual burnt offering, which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet and soothing odor, an offering made by fire to the Lord. Now we have some of the details of what is to accompany this offering. We have the oil, we have the flour, and the combination of them being mixed together. You can look up what the units are to determine the quantity, but it seems like a reasonable amount to me, and knowing the exact amount I don't think really impacts it all that much. It's just more or less something that goes with it. And the bigger thing of note here is that this is a sacrifice, or this type of offering was first ordained in Mount Sinai. So as they went through the years, through the decades, through the centuries, maintaining this offering, that it would all date back to Sinai. It would be something that would tie the people to that original Exodus experience. And I think that's kind of neat, really, as a memorial, right? Where it's like they keep doing the same thing, and it's like, well, we started back in Sinai, so they don't forget their roots as being slaves from Egypt. Numbers 28:7. Its drink offering shall be a fourth of a hin for each lamb in the holy place. You shall pour out a fermented drink offering to the Lord. 28:8. And the other lamb you shall offer in the evening, like the cereal offering of the morning, and like its drink offering you shall offer it, an offering made by fire, a sweet and soothing odor to the Lord. So here we see the accompanying drink offering. some details on that, as well as that the second offering, the one in the morning and the one in the evening, that they are done the same way. This whole section here, this chapter, is quite interesting because it's as if the Lord is preparing this new generation that, yeah, they've seen these offerings being performed from their youth onward, but they really probably didn't know what exactly was going on. So now they're being taught or educated in how these things work. And of course, Moses, he's not long for this world, so it's important that they know and understand this stuff so they don't get in trouble by messing up the offerings, especially when they're so close to that promised land. Numbers 28:9. And on the Sabbath day 2 male lambs a year old, without spot or blemish, and 2/10 of an ephod of flour, for a cereal offering mixed with oil, and its drink offering. 28:10. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, besides the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. So the Sabbath day is a special holy day set apart to the Lord. As a result, it has additional sacrifices on it. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, the amount of flour is also different between the daily sacrifice and this special Sabbath sacrifice. It looks like it has double. It also doesn't specify when exactly this offering is to take place, whether it is in the morning or in the evening or in the middle of the day, or if one of them is offered at one point and the other is offered at another, or they're both at the same time. We really don't know exactly how this worked, but it was to be offered on the Sabbath day. I suppose that could add some level of flexibility as well, because they got the morning and the evening, they got that taken up with the other sacrifice, so wherever they can fit it in, I guess. Numbers 28:11. And at the beginning of your months you shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, without spot or blemish. So to add to what we had previously, there's offerings to be done at the beginning of every month. And there's quite a few animals here being offered to the Lord. Of course, back in the day, they would have tracked the years and the month by the phases of the moon. So they could go by the moon phases for determining when the new month begins. And blow the trumpets, start the festivities. Here we go. Numbers 28:12. And 3/10 of an ephod of fine flour for a cereal offering mixed with oil for each bull, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a cereal offering mixed with oil for the 1 ram. 28:13. And 1/10 part of fine flour mixed with oil as a cereal offering for each lamb for a burnt offering of a sweet and pleasant fragrance, an offering made by fire to the Lord. 28:14. And their drink offering shall be 1/2 a hin of wine for a bull, and 1/3 of a hin for a ram, and 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. This is the burnt offering of each month throughout the months of the year. So we have the animal described first, then we have the accompanying offerings or other portions of the offering being described, I suppose. Numbers 28:15. And 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. It shall be offered in addition to the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. Continuing on with the monthly offering, we see that there's a kid of the goats being offered as a sin offering. There's a lot of details of sin offerings in the book of Leviticus, but it's kind of an interesting process where they have the animal and then the priest literally puts his hand on the animal and metaphorically transfers the sin to the animal so that when it is slain, it takes the place of them and takes on the sin of the congregation or the individual or whatever the case may be. In this case, it would be the congregation and the priest or whatever, but in other instances, it would be more specific if it was extra sin offering being performed. Numbers 28:16. On the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover. So now we are going to be looking at some of the feast days, which are other days that offerings are made and other types of celebrations depending on the individual feast. Passover is, of course, the celebration of the event in which the angel of the Lord passed over top of Egypt and slew all the firstborns, and was the final miracle to get the Israelites out of Egypt. Numbers 28:17. On the 15th day of this month is a feast. For 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. The celebration of unleavened bread follows the Passover event. After the Israelites escaped Egypt, they didn't have time to prepare anything. They didn't have time to bring leaven for their bread. So they ate unleavened bread. And the Feast of Unleavened Bread celebrates that event of them actually getting out of Egypt. And that's what's being mentioned here. Numbers 28:18. On the first day there shall be a holy summoned assembly. You shall do no servile work that day. So part of this holiday here, this holy day, is going to be the prohibition of working. And that's something I can definitely get behind. Numbers 28:19. But you shall offer an offering made by fire, a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old. They shall be without blemish, to the best of your knowledge. 28:20. And their cereal offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah shall you offer for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 28:21. A tenth shall you offer for each of the 11 male lambs. So here we have the list of the animals to be offered during this event and the accompanying offerings that go with those. The cereal offering, the amount of flour and everything for that. Numbers 28:22. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. There's also a sin offering being made here as well. So there's quite a bit going on during these festive times. Numbers 28:23. You shall offer these in addition to the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. I find it quite interesting that these daily offerings continue even throughout these holy celebrations. I'm sure that made for a very busy time for the priest. Numbers 28:24. In this way you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of an offering made by fire, a sweet and soothing odor to the Lord. It shall be offered in addition to the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. 28:25. And on the 7th day you shall have a holy summoned assembly. You shall do no work befitting a slave or a servant. This celebration we see here described starts off with a day in which people do not work, and they have a meeting or an assembly, and then the offerings and things happen, and that goes on continually till the last day, and the last day is very much similar to the first day in which people are not working, and it's just the end of the celebration period. Numbers 28:26. Also in the first day of the first fruits, when you offer a cereal offering of new grain to the Lord at your feast of weeks, you shall have a holy summoned assembly. You shall do no servile work. So here we see it mentioning the first fruits. After the event of the Passover, the Lord took ownership of the firstborn, and the first fruits, it's kind of similar. So the first things that grow, a portion of them belong to the Lord. So this is the celebration of first fruits. It's like a harvest festival in which the first fruit is presented to the Lord. Numbers 28:27. But you shall offer the burnt offering for a sweet, pleasing, and soothing fragrance to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs, a year old. So this is a continuation on as far as the first fruits celebration goes, and the different offerings that are to be prepared for the Lord on that day. Numbers 28:28. And their cereal offering of fine mixed flour with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for one ram. 28:29. A tenth for each of the 7 male lambs. 28:30. And 1 male goat to make atonement for you. So here is the rest of the items to be prepared with that offering. And as we see here as well, there is a kid of the goats for a offering for atonement. Numbers 28:31. You shall offer them in addition to the continual burnt offering and its cereal offering and their drink offerings. See that they are without blemish. And of course, last of all, the same rules apply as before. The daily offering needs to continue on.